Hi, folks. Today is November 2nd. Welcome to Konveyor community meeting. We abide by Konveyor code of conduct, which means be nice to one another. And if you want to learn more about the code of conduct, it is linked at the top of this agenda. And I agenda in one more time in the chat. And please feel free to add yourself to the agenda. I'd appreciate it. Moving on to the first topic. My name is Savita Raghunathan. I'm your host for today. I'm a conveyor maintainer. And do we have anyone new in the call that would like?
Hi, this is Dana. I've been on the call in the years previous, but it's been a while because I have had conflicts, which this week with the Ireland team having a different daylight savings jump, I'm able to attend, so it's good to see you guys again.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, John.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dana. Welcome to our meeting.
Thanks. And I'm with IBM and I work on modernization and our modernization tools. So I've been working with people across your team for a while.
Wonderful. Good to see you. Does anyone else want to go?
Well, maybe I'm new to the meeting. I'm Garrett. I think we had some chats during the last days on the Slack. I'm working with a large company. I'm a freelancer, but currently affiliated with a large company in Germany who is starting their cloud migration journey, and we are trying to support them. And yeah, we found Konveyor is a very nice tool, which is very convenient for our purposes. So I hope to join here more often and have the opportunity to work with you. Thanks.
Thank you, good. Welcome to our meeting. I hope I pronounce your name correct. I even Googled on YouTube how to pronounce so
Pretty
that
good.
Thank you. All right. Do we have anyone else? Otherwise, we could just jump into the agenda. Cool. The first topic is demos in roadmap. The first one we have is a demo from David. David, whenever you're ready, please take it away. I will stop presenting my screen.
You guys see the slideshow?
Yeah.
All right. So today, what I wanted to chat about is our Helm support in the Konveyor. So we had spoke about this a few meetings back, and it wasn't actually something that we could we were ready to support as we were looking into some of the issues that we were dealing with the release pipeline. I'll dig into that later. But it turned out to be much more possible, and so that's what this is all about. So it came. So a quick overview of what I want to talk about is the what is just a chat about what's changing. There's only a handful of us in the Konveyor group that deal with the release process for our upstream components. So a little bit of like an overview of what we're doing. And then I want to give a why as to, why we're making some of these changes and what that will allow us to do in the future. Kind of give a short demo of our progress and then talk about what's next. So the PR that was linked at the beginning of the slides, and I think is, if it's not in the agenda, I'll add it. There's three main things that it does. The first is it uses Helm as a drop-in replacement for Customize as part of our operator manifest generation. So when we create an operator and we want to publish it, one of the main manifests that we need is called a cluster service version. And what we need Helm for is the templating aspect to render that file. What this means is that we support Helm install from that directory that's created now. We're also introducing two new actions. The first one is a make bundle, where we can now build operator bundles for use when we want to install Konveyor with OLM. So we've been able to do that before, but the images were usually hard coded in the bundle as it existed. We didn't have a good way of changing the images at the bundle build time. So this new action allows you to override all the images, anyone you want, or just create a new bundle image. And now we are adding an additional GitHub action for installing Konveyor. And this one actually takes the bundle as the source of truth for installing Tackle. And you can also provide it a Tackle custom resource as the input. What this means, to kind of jump into the why, for Konveyor release process, we'd actually like to test our thing before we release it out into the wild. We've had several incidents in the past couple months where we think everything is good, and then when we go through the process of building the images in their appropriate order, make sure everything is built correctly, and we ship it, and it'll have some failure that causes us to do a rebuild pretty quickly. So we really want to be able to say, hey, this is what we're getting ready to release, test that. Okay, it's not a dud, send it on its way. But what's wrong is packaging operators for OLM is pretty painful. So operator SDK, when you use it to create an Ansible-based operator, which is what ours is, you get baked into it is customize, and it relies on customize, which is great when all of your images are specified as image lines in deployment manifests. The problem comes in when we have images that are defined as environment variables on the container portion of the spec. There's really no easy way to change those values in customize manifests. So because of how difficult it is, we never really bothered trying to package up those operator manifests at any time other than when it was release time. And the problem, the script that we are using, so we have this really complicated script that mirrors stuff into our Quay namespace, pins the images using saw digests. That's all great, but that script is so cumbersome that it's not clear how we would stop it from publishing. So that's what brought this all about. So let's see if I can switch to showing my screen. I'm gonna have to do the infinity window for a second. Are you guys able to, is everyone able to see my terminal?
Yep, can see it.
All right, is this text large enough?
Yes, it's not your normal microscopic thing.
Yeah. All right, so if you are familiar with Ansible-based operators and actually operators packaged via operator SDK, this will look pretty familiar. So what we've done is instead of having the config directory with a bunch of manifests and customization files, is we've just shoved everything into a templates directory, and we've created a values file with the things that we really want to be able to change. And you'll kind of see from this values YAML the things that we've been struggling to update. So one of the things when we go to release is we want to change the replaces and have it be based on the operator that we're replacing. And we also want to take from that operator we're replacing all of the versions that it skips and just add additionally the one that we're replacing. So there's a lot of OLM semantics here, but computing these changes and adding it easily to the cluster service version when we go to render it is, you can get a picture for why Helm has helped us here. So if you look at the Helm template now, we can generate a bunch of manifests. And the nice thing about this is now I can make bundles with custom images set. So now I can override the image. One of those. Yeah, this was me testing to see the order preference precedence. What this also means is I can also, I have the manifests, I can create bundles on the fly. I can also now, if I create a namespace in my Minikube and I want to do a Helm install, I can do that now. And so the operator is creating, and once the operator is available, then I can create my tackle CR. And that's where the other release process stuff comes into play. So I'll go back to the slides to finish up. So the next steps that we have are to merge this change. This change isn't actually complete yet because it hasn't been merged. Once we do that, we should have actions that are able to be used in CI to test multiple components together. And that'll actually allow us, once we make some changes in CI, to leverage these new, like make bundle and install conveyor. What we should be able to do is have a complete release pipeline that generates manifests that we're ready to publish, test that thing that we're ready to release to the wild, and once that passes, release it to the wild. Any questions?
David, I have one. Just trying to see if I understand correctly. In the past, we had people that were nervous to install from an operator. They didn't really want to do all the OLM stuff and go from and mirror stuff down, and they wanted to do the Helm chart. If we install this from Helm, I'm assuming our operator is still managing things, or is that wrong?
Our operator is still managing everything,
Okay.
yes.
But we don't have to go through like a catalog to get all this stuff. The Helm
Correct.
chart would basically lay everything down for us.
Yeah, we're just sidestepping the things that OLM would do. So essentially what happens when you, so it's a quick dive into the way OLM works is when you run the operator SDK, run or generate bundle or bundle generate, whatever the command is, it takes a giant YAML document on standard in that has all YAMLs split by those 3 dash lines, and it'll take things like deployments and service accounts, roles, role bindings, cluster roles, cluster role bindings, all that stuff in a big list, and it takes those and generates a cluster service version. And then on the back end, what happens when you install an operator is OLM unpacks those things and lays them down in a manageable way. So what we're essentially doing is skipping the step where we generate a cluster service version. And this is when you say Helm install. We're skipping the generate a cluster service version and just laying down those manifests onto the cluster.
And do you see, is there something in the future where we would want to publish a Helm chart for this? Would that be a case that you don't have to install through Operator Hub and go through OLM? You could just do the Helm, or is it something that, like, is there value of that, or is there no value?
I think there is absolutely value. It's just a poor time in the release cycle to be pursuing that kind
And
of
that's
stuff.
fair. All right, cool. All right, so And what I was thinking is we do this open issue. I'll just paste it in here. So I'm assuming that this open, Dylan opened this, I think a few months back. So I think that's the one that we would track for the last piece, and that's actually getting everything so it can be published. Is that
Right?
I'm trying to make sure
Currently-
that I understand.
Yeah, currently you can, it is technically we're supporting Helm, but you have to clone our repo in order to run a Helm install command. The next step would be to publish it to, I forget what it's called, Artifact Hub. But I think that we need to provide, we would need to change one of our conveyor sites to also provide a chart index. And that's the thing that's, I'm punting that to later. Because right now all we need is an easy way, off the shelf way to replace those image lines and replace that old crusty shell script that I had with, well, the fact that Helm does it for us. It's a big win.
Cool. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for David? Thank you, David. It was a wonderful demo. And if I want to try it out, do you know, or like, do you have a quick gist or like some steps where I could just do it locally?
If you have that, you'd have to pull my branch currently, but as soon as it's ready, all you would have to do is clone or pull from main and run a Helm install /Helm. So you saw where I was running a Helm template command that rendered manifests. In the Helm install command, you just provide it like a release name. That's the
Cool.
only additional argument.
Okay.
And it should just work. If it blows up in anyone's face, let me know, please, because it shouldn't do that.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, David, for this. I know some folks have asked about the Helm charts before, and I think this might be very useful. Like we could support, or we are going to support this. So thank you for that. I am going to reshare my screen. Give me 1 second. Once I figure out how to do all this stuff, I don't think I'll ever get used to it. Cool. We have one item on the discussion, and I wanted to bring up one of the item that I saw in the Slack. And since Gerd is here, I don't want to put him on spot, but if you want to take it away, please feel free to. Otherwise, I can go.
There's nothing I can contribute that by now. I think I'm in close contact already with Holma, and so yeah, please go ahead.
Sure, thank you. So
Thanks.
Thank you. So I just wanted to bring up, so we have a lot of discussions just going back and forth on Slack, and wanted to know, like, for the bigger conversations, should we have a discussion and move or like track everything in the discussion, or what would folks prefer? So that was like the basic gist of it. Do anyone have any opinions? What do you all think? Would Slack work the best?
I mean, I think
Good, David. Sorry.
I was gonna say Slack is the most obvious because I don't know that anyone's monitoring discussions that are started. But I'm not opposed to having like issues that we don't know specifically where what repo the changes involved will land in. I think having those discussions on GitHub would be great and be much more trackable into the future.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it depends. Like, if it's a new RFE or something, then there's this enhancements repo. But a combination of GitHub issues and Slack has been working quite well for us. I'm not sure what others prefer.
And just I'll share what I was thinking. I think for the real-time stuff of getting feedback quickly and not really knowing and getting a little bit of help, that Slack might be nice because it's a little bit more likely that somebody can respond quickly. And there's definitely the stuff that up till now, discussions isn't something we've been actively monitoring. Now that could change, and it could be something that makes sense to go into. I'm guessing the discussions might have a nice thing on Google search. I'm assuming if we put things in there that might get indexed, and then maybe that can start coming into the future, and that could be cool. It feels like there's probably some kind of blend, but I'm not really sure myself of what's the difference between going to a discussion or an issue and how we'd use it. I don't really know where that is. It seems like what we've kind of done is Slack is maybe throwaway stuff of discussions for right now to kind of get us centered. And then a GitHub issue would be that thing that we could track. And then we'd put some stuff in there about what a decision that's made. And as Pranav was mentioning, when it comes to an RFE or something that we want to really work on, then we have this whole enhancement process. So generally it starts out as an issue, as a lightweight kind of thing, like, hey, what do you think about blah? And then maybe we talk about it, we make some decision on it, and then we say, okay, we want to do that, we want to implement it. We would do a little bit of a write-up of an enhancement thing saying, hey, this is the reason why, this is what we think it's going to look like. And then everybody can look at that, and that goes in. That's a separate repo called enhancements repo that we've been using. So I'm open to kind of seeing how discussions fit in. I just don't know right now. So I need somebody to kind of say like, hey, this is where we think that discussion might be opposed to an issue. In my own mind, I'm not sure. So see what other people think.
Yeah, it was just an idea by me that, yeah, as I wrote, I'm a little bit confused about all of these threads I started in the last 2 days, and I thought maybe there is a better forum to do these discussions. And then I found this discussions thing on GitHub, and thought maybe, yeah, maybe we could move over there for have a more yeah, don't know the English expression, concise way to discuss one topic at one place, and not to mix it up with other threads as maybe we did in the last 2 days. Maybe we could give it a try. I saw there were some discussions maybe 8 months ago, and then it was never used again. Yes. So I'm not sure if it's the right way to go. But yeah, maybe we could try it and see how it works in a few weeks.
I would say if you want to kick one off and try.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
And then we'll just kind of see what goes on. I would say that if you have any expectation where you need somebody to give you an answer quickly,
sure.
Slack's the best thing.
Use Slack, yes. I fully agree. For short help requests, it's great to have Slack and have so many people listening over there and answering quickly. But for a little bit deeper discussions, maybe the GitHub discussions forum is a better way to go. Maybe we can try it. And even if I start a new discussion over there, maybe I can give a hint on Slack so that people know there is something going on. Yeah. I thought there is an integration of GitHub in discussions with Slack, but I couldn't find out how this works, and if it's possible to add this to the Kubernetes Slack, as I think it's driven by someone else, not by you. So
exactly. Yeah, that's what we're beholden to. It's really what they allow. If they allow it, that'd be great to try. In the past, we wanted some other integrations that weren't supported, so I don't know about this one.
Okay, so I will take on that once I'm back from KubeCon to see if it can be integrated. If it is, then it's going to be an amazing thing. In the meanwhile, I really like the idea that if we create discussion on issue or anything, just put a link on the Slack so that more people can get some eyes on the issue or discussion. I'm not good, personally, I'm not good with the notifications because there's a lot of notifications. Sometimes I just mute them. So over communication in open source is never a bad thing. So I can see folks smiling and nodding. So all right. So do anyone have anything else to add on top of it?
Hey, Savita, we do have few questions to ask, but maybe we'll go later after
Oh,
finishing
sure.
off all the.
Please feel free to go ahead, Ujjwal. I don't have anything important. It's just like an announcement. I could just cover it at the end. Please feel free to ask your questions.
Sure. So, as of now, we were able to use the tool and ignore a specific file. But how to ignore the complete folder? Is it a possibility while the rules evaluation?
Uh, I I might be able to help here, but I don't understand what you mean by
Okay, for example,
ignoring.
okay, okay, for example, we have a test.py file in
Mhm.
our. We know that it's not useful, and this file
Uh,
does not need to be evaluated.
yeah,
Similarly, we could have a folder which may have a number of Python files or any other
right,
languages per se.
right.
We want,
Yep.
yeah,
And you want to exclude those from analysis, right?
right, right. The complete folder, which because
Yeah.
listing out multiple files in a folder would be not efficient way.
Oh, so right now the Python provider has something to exclude files, but not to exclude a folder.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I will get back to you on that one in Slack. If oh no, I'm sorry. I don't know how.
Yep. You can post on Slack. Maybe I'll check.
Okay,
That's
okay,
fine.
cool.
Tag me up.
Yeah, I'll speak with Jonah about that. Is Jonah on the call?
No, I don't think
Okay,
he is.
okay. Yeah,
What about just Ujwal, would you open up an issue? Because maybe that would be a
sure.
good way just to kind of track it so we don't forget.
Yep.
It's okay.
That. Yep.
Hey, Pranav, so one more question was when we're writing the custom rules
Hmm.
in Python. So currently we use built-in.file content in Java to
Right.
the dependency package. But while writing the Python rules, I don't see any, Python.referenced or something like that functionality. So instead, like we use built-in.file content currently. So do you support that? Or like is there any feature that we can use to find the Python dependency package?
With the Python provider, we should already have something that supports Python dot referenced and then with a pattern, right?
Okay, I think we tried with Python.reference, it was not working. uh, so just wanted to know like
Hmm. Uh,
yeah.
okay. Can
Maybe a version issue because we just added that, right?
uh, so we are facing some errors when we when we are trying to run the MTA tool CLI. So maybe I can post that error in the Slack channel.
sure? Yeah.
Okay. And so one more thing was just to try out, right? So along with the Python, we're also testing out Go and Node.js. So Go, it was working fine. So just wanted to know like if we have any plans to bring Node.js
I
to
think that
the
was part of the
em-
piece that your
yeah.
team was going to contribute. That was the last part that I remember the discussion. So I don't know if I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's the way that the discussion was going. Was that essentially your team would be contributing the Python and the Node.js piece, and then we kind of took a stab at the Python to get it kicked off, but we haven't had any bandwidth to do that for Node.js.
So yeah, working on Python rules. So we did create lot at this moment. We are finalizing stuff. Of course, we'll come back. Uh, on Node.js, we just started, but somehow not much of progress. Considering the analyzer part, we haven't contributed in that direction yet. We thought that with the latest release, the beta one, maybe do supports, but somehow that didn't turn out to be.
So there's no bandwidth on our side as of right now
Okay.
to contribute the Node.js side. That's something that we'd like in the future, but it hasn't been prioritized as something that we could handle as of right now. But if you want to work in that, we could definitely guide you with the contributions to get that in.
Yep, we will love to go the way we should. Of course, we can find a time and go from there. How to
Cool. And I had one question too, is that I might have been on the wrong assumption. I didn't know that you were able to access Slack. Is that something you're able to use now so we can converse on there?
Okay. I have installed it on my using my personal account, but using the Deloitte ecosystem, I cannot.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's still some barriers. It's going to be hard for you.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks. The next is on the release, as in maybe Savita or someone else might be, Dalan might be covering at the end on the future release. Now we are at the beta stage and so on and so forth. What's the future plan?
Dylan or David, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, so we went over the rough outline of our release plan on last Thursday. The current plan is we want to cut beta 2 today. Let me get the actual dates in front of me. I believe and you know what, Sweet, this is probably something good. We can copy paste the table across these two docs, but give me 1 second, sorry. Here, I can share this. That's not sharing, is it? Of course not. Sorry. Here we go. There we go. So, and if you do not have access, or if you don't have an invite to this meeting, please let me know. But you should automatically get this if you got an invite to this call as well. So we alternate every week on planning versus community call. I'm sorry, this is old as well. Where's the last ones we had? Here we go. Thanks. Beta 2 on today, 11.2. Our first release candidate we're hoping to cut on the 9th. We'll likely need another release candidate. We don't know how many, so estimated 2 weeks after that, we'll cut release candidate 2. And then we intend to go GA with 0.30 at the end of November.
Great, thanks. And will this version be also released on Operator Hub?
Yes. And in fact, the betas are also installable via Operator Hub if you just select the beta channel.
Murad, can you please comment and explain about your experience on the Operator Hub installation?
It began able to use a beta version and alpha version max. Up to the max, we are able to utilize 3.0. And in beta, it's kind of 1.3. Is that the latest version?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You're saying that with alpha, you're getting what version?
0.3, a max to 0.4. You're not able to get above that.
Yeah, this is 0.30 alpha and 0.30 beta. So when you install the most up-to-date release is 0.30 beta 1. That's you're just seeing a different version than 0.30 beta 1?
No, 0.30 beta 1.3 something.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
Yep. Is that the latest version?
Yes.
Okay, got it. But when we tried to check the Python application, it provided us some issues.
Okay. If you are willing to file like a GitHub issue with what you're seeing and the version that you've installed, that would be very helpful.
Let me check that.
Maybe can we quickly share screen and show it right away? I think that will be quick if possible.
Sure, that works for me. How about others?
Yeah, that's fine.
Please go ahead, Ujjwal.
Okay, I think
The cluster is down. Let me check with the team.
okay, his Okay, some infrastructure issues. We'll come back. Sorry for this. We'll of course. He won't be able to share his screen now.
You can email us later too if you want to. We can always try to do something like an ad hoc screen share.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was one thing that I wanted to mention, that if we have issues using Slack, we also have mailing list like Conveyor Dev and Conveyor Community, and also Conveyor Analyzers. So that might also be another place where you could start emailing and we could have discussions there.
Yeah, we have this bi-weekly call just for analyzer discussions. If you can jump on there, we would be happy to help you debug and look at the issues.
Of course. Thanks.
Thank you, Pranav. I was just going to bring that up. Yes, it's alternating with this. Every Thursday that alternates with the Conveyor community call, and it's 11:30 Eastern, if I'm not wrong, 11:30. And I think this week we are going to have I never quite get it. I think daylight saving ends. I think the time switches back. So I'm just going to stick to that. And so if you are in Europe, or just make sure that the calendars are synced and the time might be different than what you have, what the time is this week. So, and thank you, John, for sharing the mailing list. Sorry, Ujjwal, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, I was stepping. No, I'll go on mute. I was talking to some team member.
Oh, no worries at all. Thank you. And does anyone have any questions on the topics that we discussed so far, or the communication mechanism, anything that they want to bring up? Cool, then I'm going to move on to the next one. I just have an informational thing. So next week is KubeCon, North America, Chicago. There would be a kiosk for Conveyor. It's a full-time kiosk, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I will be there most of the time, and my teammates will be there. So if you have any questions, or if you have any of your colleagues, friends who are interested to know about app modernization or Conveyor in general, please ask them to stop by, and would be happy to chat with them and connect with folks who are interested in the similar field. And I have the information on the agenda. It's kiosk number F31 in the project pavilion. And I also have a link that has a map, I think, so you could take a look at it later. So any questions on that? Cool. And I'm going to move on to my favorite portion of the meeting. I have a few shout outs that I want to give to folks. And if you have any, please feel free to add it to the agenda. First up is to Gert. Thank you so much for working on Analyzer in the past few days, or the past week, I think. And thank you for putting up PR, suggesting patches, and all the issues that you brought up that are so helpful. Thank you for that. And second up is kudos to the folks that are working on Analyzer for getting to all the issues super fast. And every time I look at it, there is someone who's answering and helping folks in the community. I appreciate that. It's so nice to see people getting on and like collaborating. And the final one is to David. Thank you so much for all the release updates. I appreciate it. And I bet I'm going to get so many questions on the install and whatnot when I'm at the booth. So I could definitely use all the things that you have been working on. So thank you so much. Does anyone have anything to add? They want to say thanks to, or kudos, or anything before I wrap this call? Folks, we have come to the end of the agenda. If you have anything, please feel free to reach out in the Slack channel or in any of the communication methods, GitHub issues, or communication mailing list. Sorry, I wanted to say that one mailing list. And one of the maintainers, the contributors, developers would be happy to help you out. And if you are going to be at KubeCon, please feel free to stop by the booth and say hi. I would love to say hi in person. And that's it from me. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. Until then, it's bye from me. Take care.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Savita. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot. Bye.